Hey there, this is Wakeangel2K1, and this is just a little thing I want to get off my chest, a little musing, because I'm always seeing, I watch a lot of educational programming and stuff, because, I'm a nerd, and I like astronomy and stuff like that, and one of the things that you're always hearing about is how so many of the stars you see in the sky may not be there anymore because it takes such a long time for their light to reach us. And I'm thinking hey, our sun is a basic G-type main sequence star is expected to last for 10 billion years before it goes red giant, and then another 2 billion as a red giant before it finally dies. And I looked it up. The shortest lived stars are blue supergiants that have a lifespan of about 10 million years. But the Milky Way galaxy is only 100,000 light years across. So that means that if you could see all the way to the farthest end of it, theoretically, if you were on one end of it and you were looking to the other end, that other end would have a sky that's only 100,000 years old. So unless you're looking at a red supergiant star in the final phase of its evolution, odds are whatever stars you're seeing over there are still going to be alive a paltry 100,000 years later. 100,000 years isn't that long, even for relatively short-lived stars like blue supergiants. So odds are, unless you're looking at a star that's just about right on the edge of popping, then it's probably still there in the sky. We are not looking at a sky full of ghosts. And my next point is that you actually can't see to the edge of the galaxy. The galaxy is actually a very dirty place. There's clouds of interstellar dust, which cause a phenomenon called interstellar extinction. This is where you can't see very far because the dust clouds get in the way. Until scientists invented infrared telescopes, they were trying to map out the galaxy, and what they were getting was a disc-shaped region approximately, I think it was 4,000 or 5,000 light years across, maybe up to 10,000 light years, with our solar system vaguely near the center of it. That's when they realized. Then they started going in other frequencies and realized that radio waves go through interstellar dust. Infrared can also penetrate some interstellar dust. That's when they really started to realize just how big the galaxy was. But yeah, you literally can't see that far. So I also looked up what's the most distant star that you would be able to see with the naked eye. I have it right here on Google. It is called It appears to not have a name. It's a star about 4,000 light years away in the constellation Cassiopeia. It's a blue supergiant star that's over 100,000 times more luminous than our sun. That's what we can see from so far away. But 4,000 light years, even to a blue supergiant, 4,000 years is a very small section of its lifespan. So again, unless we are seeing this star right on the very edge of its going supernova, it's probably still there. I do know there is one star that I am aware of, just off the top of my head. It's called Betelgeuse. It's in the constellation of Orion. I know because amusingly, it's also called the armpit of the Great One. You think that's why the Tim Burton movie called him Beetlejuice, because his foul body odor is a defining characteristic of him, and he's the Great One's armpit, Beetlejuice. That's where I think that came from, but I'm no movie buff. I'm just saying where I think it came from. I have read up on that one. It's a red supergiant star that's obviously used up that from the way it looks, it's not only used up all of its hydrogen, it's also used up all of its helium, and its core is now burning the heavier elements until it's eventually going to go supernova. Apologies for the jump cut, I just got interrupted. Anyway, yeah, Betelgeuse. It's a star that's used up its helium apparently, and astronomers predict that somewhere in the next billion years it's going to go supernova. And you can never really gauge exactly when a star is going to go supernova, but I've always kind of been holding out hope that it might happen within my lifetime, because that would be kind of a spectacular sight to see. So, hopefully it could be anywhere from like in the next 30 seconds to a billion years from now. But let's hope it's a little bit closer to the former. So yeah, but even so, aside from that one star I can think of, pretty much everything we see out there is still out there. And that got me into thinking, what's the most distant object you can see? Well, that would be the Andromeda Galaxy, of course. So, looking up the distance to the Andromeda Galaxy, that's 2.5 million light years. Now that's some distance. 2.5 million years is a significant portion of even a blue supergiant's lifespan. That's almost a quarter of it. So some of the blue supergiants that we're seeing in the Andromeda Galaxy might actually have gone supernova since we've observed them, and we're just waiting for their light to reach us. So yes, it could be that some of the stars we're looking at in the Andromeda Galaxy have died. So yes, the Andromeda Galaxy could be full of ghosts. Except that the Andromeda Galaxy is barely visible to the unaided human eye. In the sky under ideal conditions, it looks like a fuzzy blob. You need a very, very powerful telescope to see individual stars in that galaxy. And in fact, they hadn't actually discovered individual stars in it until they made gigantic observatory-sized telescopes where they were able to identify these spiral nebulae as galaxies made out of stars. Notably, M31 and Andromeda were two of the first observed. So, I mean, admittedly, a supernova is as bright as an entire galaxy, so if you're looking at the Andromeda Galaxy and you all of a sudden notice that it gets twice as bright, then you are probably seeing a supernova within it, but even then, that would be on the very edge of visibility. So, I find that it's very nice and poetic to say that there's a sky full of ghosts, but really when they say, when you're looking up at the sky and you're seeing the light from stars that may no longer exist, no. Astronomers with powerful telescopes that can see to the edge of the universe, they're looking at objects that can no longer exist. And thanks to those photos being shared with us, we can see them as well. But when you look up at the sky and you're just seeing the stars visible to the naked eye within our galaxy, they still exist. Unless something really catastrophic has happened, those stars are probably still there, based purely on how long stars live and how far they are from us. So, I hate to be the contrarian that goes against that, but, I just kind of had to go, I see it all the time and it was getting annoying to me. That's it.